Word on this. All right, so thanks for hopping on. We'll make this quick. I like to make my calls just like super quick, but at least it's more of interactive. So I'm gonna have Derek help out too. So real quick, Jason is gonna be on the call for the 2 o'clock. So make sure you guys don't miss it. He's gonna go over a lot of great things, his activity, his production, mind state. So don't mess it up, man. You'll be good. So what I want to go over, I'm going to share a screen now. All right, so it's a Halloween theme. Look at me. I try to keep it I put some thought into this, man. I'm proud of myself. But before I start, convention, sign up. If you guys haven't signed up, it's going to be in Miami. It's going to be fun. It's going to be in February. So sign up now, start looking for dates. Use the team, use the group, you know, if you're either going to get a room or share an Airbnb, but Airbnbs have kind of been crappy lately. They're charging now like multiple room fees, cleaning fees and all that stuff. So, but it does save some cost if you want to room and board with other people. So figure that out, but start planning. First register, go to your HTMS and just register. As far as our goals for October, today is the last day for October. As you guys know, every Thursday through Thursday, that's when we do our numbers. We are 3 weeks in. We might be falling short. 3 weeks in, we are at a total of 211, 3 weeks in October. So I don't know if we're going to hit 90K in one more week, but we will be falling short like a few $1,000s. So it's not so bad. But those are great goals because those are lofty goals. So what you want to do is you want to create and maintain those goals. And then now we get to tweak, right? It's not like in one business, it's a do or die. It's an approach of, okay, go for it. If you hit it or not, what did you learn from it? That's where we got to continue to learn from. What are we doing? What are our specific targets and what are we missing from it? So going into the main topic in relation to the Halloween coming up on Monday is the fears, okay? These are the things that really just in our own mental space is what could be holding us back into performing at a higher level, okay? What are our fears, in this industry, okay? Do we have our fear of rejection, our success, our failure, mediocrity, risk? I mentioned this before. If you guys go on to the meetings drive, let me know if you guys don't have that. I uploaded the self-discipline in 10 days. You guys see this one, right? I switched it. Okay, so if you guys haven't done so, it's a great book. Do it, when you're hanging out at a park or you have time, sometimes even in the bathroom. It's a quick read, talks about the mind state. You have a Jekyll and your Hyde, one that wants to be productive, one that throws you back out. So it talks about the fears, the antidotes, the fear of rejection, success, mediocrity, risk, failure, and it even comes back with the antidotes for them, visualizations, specific 10-day course materials for you that'll get you self-disciplined. And it talks back on like, this is what your mind is doing, the path of least resistance. Do you want to make phone calls versus do you want to just watch TV? These things are what's throwing you out because you might have a fear of rejection making the phone call. You have an apprehension of taking the risk of buying the lead. And then you're like, let me just buy it tomorrow. Let me go the next day. Let me do the next day. And you procrastinate. So these things, it's a very, very quick book, but it puts you in a relationship with yourself. Because sometimes, the biggest frustration is you're in your own head and you don't have the answer and you're just beating yourself up, right? And that comes back to this, what are our fears or worries about our future? Okay. So start looking into your goals for next year because now we're starting November and 2 months out. Do you want to be where you're going to be at if you don't start planning now from next year to what happened throughout the year, right? So we mentioned this at the start of the year, but start looking and creating the fear to motivate you and drive you to that goal now. So start asking the right questions. So Tony Robbins has something on YouTube about this too. Look him up. But the way he flips the questions on this, he asked the right way. Like, what would it be like? He drives a pain point if you don't make a change. Okay. So let me use an example of like losing weight. Okay. So he said, if I don't lose weight in the next year, what pain points would I be receiving? How good would my health be? How good will my energy be? How good will be my finances? You know, will I get sick? Will I develop diabetes? Do I want that? So it's all about these, you know how you create worries? You can create a positive worry. And since you don't want that, that pain point and that fear is what's going to drive you. Okay. So same thing in our business. If you can create the fear of like, if I don't go to work, I'm not going to pay my bills. If I don't go pay my bills, I'm not going to get rent. If I don't have rent, I don't have food. If I don't have rent, I don't have a place to sleep. Now I can't provide for my family. These good fears are what will drive you. So guess what you got to do? Do I make a phone call or do I watch Netflix? Let me go make my phone call because I don't want to lose my house. That type of thing, right? So I had a session too with Talise going over with Jason, and the great part about it, she was talking about these things and she was asking, you know, complacency. Sometimes we get comfortable. Sometimes we make some money and then we relax. And she mentioned this: complacency is an illusion of safety. So just think about it in your sense, you know, where are you and where do you feel you're complacent in this business that you need to work on? And if that's something you need to work on individually that you can fix on your own, great. If not, let's have a session with her. It's free. Keep setting those sessions up because it's going to help you out. Right. And then I was reading this on Instagram just to add to this, and then we'll go on with Derek. This one guy, his name is Trevor Maybark. He's a workout athlete. He's a doctor. He's like a fitness coach, and he went through some rough times. He had cancer before. I guess he developed COVID one time and his lungs got messed up and he had to bounce back from that. And then the doctors were telling him he can't work out again, ever again. You know, you're going to only have one lung. He said, forget it. I'm going to make things happen. And so he was posting about like positive messages. And this is the biggest thing that hit me. He said, you have to hate where you are at more than you hate the work required to change your situation. Okay. So going back to the complacency, if you're comfortable and you're not uncomfortable enough, if you don't hate your position enough, you're going to stick to it. You're going to continue. Chepa used this line before. He said he had a story about the dog and the nail. You guys remember that? So he was just talking about this dog who kept whimpering and crying because the dog was sitting on a nail. The dog just kept whimpering though and crying about it because it wasn't painful enough for him to just stand up and move. We just got to be in that situation. You have to hate where you're at more than you hate the work required to change your situation. So to make it interactive, I have Derek, if I could have you unmute real quick. So Derek just got promoted, just hit sales manager 3 weeks in October. So he's over $50,000 in team production. So congratulations. He's going to have more coming up once the 1 week follows up. But he was just texting right before this about, let's talk about a little bit about your fear and what you just jumped into. From the last week, I mentioned all these additional calling companies, these additional lead sources, right? So Derek just jumped into the Arturo Johnson leads. Let's talk about that.
I did. Yeah. So
first off, what is it? Explain it.
So yeah, it is. So they've been doing, so Arturo Johnson was a life insurance agent, got into the Facebook marketing and marketing and building agencies and all of that. Been going on about 7 years now. I got an ad from actually of Terrence Smith. So after we'd already talked about it, I saw an ad from Terrence. We talked about it a little bit with Casey.
Yeah.
So I hit up Terrence. I'm like, hey, is this legit? Like, what's going on here? And he's like, dude, it's legit. Like, you know, that's all. And I'm like, all right. So I signed up for the intro call with them, talk with them. And they're like, yeah, like, just like, look, you know, like join one of our Zoom meetings, whatever. And so I saw that there was like Eric Hamadi, Todd Hausenberger, like a bunch of other top producing FFL agents. Like one of them, can't remember his name. He's in Texas, Hall of Fame in 4 months. And I was like, all right, like if these, yeah. So I was like, all right, if these FFL dudes are doing it and they're succeeding at this, I'm like, let's do it. So I signed up with them. They optimize the Facebook groups. They're doing the ads right now. They're running them, starting to get them going. So I got my, it comes with the dialer. So I got the dialer going. It's like 600 leads a month. A lot of them will pre-book appointments. Like I already got 3 pre-booked appointments to my Calendly from those. And then they like they specialize in niches. So like I'm a vet, so it's like they're like, okay, well, we're obviously going to run vet ads for you. So in that, it's like it's all the ads are tailored to vets. It tells you, like it tells me what branch of service they're in, when they got out, all this other stuff. So I mean, it's going to be, we'll know later. But if you can't make 5 sales off of that, you're getting anywhere between 15 to 25 appointments a day. From like when it's fully optimized and like running some like 3 weeks or so.
I thought it was 15 to 25 appointments a week. You're saying a day?
No, it's a day. They're like, because your dialer will book you about 10 a day plus the pre-books. No, I'm not saying that all 25 are pre-booked, but with all the ads and everything, and sorry, the leads included, you probably get about 25. And then you can increase the ad spend. If you want to double it, you can hire a second dialer. So these top dudes have like 3 or 4 dialers each, and they doubled their ad spend. So they're paying like 10 grand a month, and they're just rocking it. So like yesterday, like they just posted in their private Facebook group, like that Hall of Fame producer did like 16.5K just
What?
off those, in one day. I mean, families helped.
Yeah, sorry. It's important, but
How much are the campaigns?
It's $5,000 a month. So it's $1,100 or $1,200 a week, which, I mean, if you know anything about Family First Life and what we're saying, the top producers are spending about $1,500 a week in leads anyways. So it was, to me, I was like, all right, well, the math checks out for that. When it's fully optimized, they're saying anywhere between 500 to 600 leads a month, which is $8.30 a lead, plus the dialer, plus the, so it made sense to me.
Let's talk about your fears on that. And so going back into what were your fears before and what made you like take the leap of faith to jump in now?
That much money up front, to be honest. It's a lot of money up front with no guarantee of anything.
Right off the bat, right?
Yeah, it was, what's your credit card number? And I was like, all right, here we go. So yeah, that was a big one. I know I had to call my bank. I surpassed my daily spending budget, so I had to call them and unlock it and all this other stuff. But we're in, so I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you want to?
Virtual sales?
Go ahead.
What's up?
So, are these virtual sales like all over the phone or all over the country, or?
Yeah. So the ones that I've got so far are like, I ask you all the states you're licensed in. So far all these have been out of state. I can't imagine if I get an in-person that I wouldn't, like go and run down the street. Vegas is pretty small.
Yeah.
For now. So hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, mostly virtual.
You want to have multiple state appointments for this. So Fernanda actually was on that for a little bit, but she ended up having her baby. She had high risk pregnancy, so she had to cut off right away. We had a call with them last week with myself and Albert with Arturo, and he he went through the numbers. Of course, he name dropped a few people that's on his system to make it sound nicer. Terrence in our team, if you guys follow the group me, he's on it. He's one of the top producers, cranking out some great numbers from it. The reason why he's doing that, compared to others, he's one of the top producers because he's doing additional things on top of it. So you get 600 leads. They're trying to get you appointments on a day-to-day basis, but you're going to go through the same BS sometimes. You're going to go through where they no show, they don't pick up, no pickups and dials. So you don't want to just be complacent again to where you're just relying on it.
Yeah.
You got your 600 leads, but they've only booked 300 for you or 100, right? You still got the other 300 you can call and dial on your own.
Yeah.
So
especially, I mean, there's still in like a 50% no-show ratio, which is on average with all virtual set appointments. I mean, that's nothing new. But yeah,
right.
Terrence was saying that he dials all the time, the leads that they give him. So, but
yeah,
100 families in 3 months.
Not bad,
That's what
right?
he did. Yeah.
So just think about it this way. What it's going to do
month?
for you. First, you had the fear of taking the risk, but it's going to remove the fear of dialing or booking appointments. It's going to remove that additional fear if it's already taken out for you. So you don't have to continue to buy leads on a week-to-week basis. It's one time, boom. And so look at it this way. If you spent 5,000, but you're getting 20 to 30 appointments in a week, you can't fail not to make that money back unless you don't go to work.
Exactly. And
Right.
it almost forces you to go to work at this point. What are you going to do? No show your own appointments,
Right.
Especially if it's virtual.
Right. So one thing you want to make sure you do have your state appointments. So you're appointed with multiple states, because the way they run the ad, they do Facebook marketing ads. Their specialty, their niche is going to be the VAs, right? So they're doing VA ads. Just make sure that when you're doing the telesale, what Terrence is using a lot, is he's using Americo Prosperity. You want to make sure you're getting these clients on policies that's going to get them approved on the spot. You know, some VAs, they might be disabled. So you don't want to use a company that's going to go sent to underwriting and then continually do follow-up on multiple appointments that you have. Okay, so sell it that way. Yeah. Any other stuff you want to add on?
Other than that, those real-time campaigns I'm hearing good things about them, from the guy next door or in the office next to me. People on Stephen Yee's team are using them a lot, and they're seeing some good things. So like brand new agent, 2 weeks in, started doing them, 6 families in a week. A couple other guys like this put in like $108, whatever. He got 12 out of 30 leads and already helped 3 families out of that. So
wow.
They seem to be working.
Yeah, it's a hit and miss for me. My personal experience, I am in LA, so Los Angeles is big. So continue to change that, because different states, different territories, it'll be good. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other concerns for you guys? We're good? Okay, so we'll wrap this up. So we'll continue to follow up next week. Let's see what's happening. But yeah, if you guys haven't read the book, if you guys haven't gone on the Google meeting, read that book. Identify what gets you stuck. Okay, if you can't identify that, book a session. Give me a text. We'll set up a session with Talise. Talise is our free performance coach. She'll identify what your performance barriers are. Is it mental? Is it physical? Is it like trauma from before? She's not a shrink. She's there to spark energy. She's there to spark and increase your talent, but she can't provide talent. that's what she's mentioned. If you're not a good person, it's like sometimes some people are dead. They're dead. We can only enlighten people that are willing to be helped. All right, so let's get this rolling. I'll see you guys next week, and we're gonna have Jason go on the 2 o'clock call. All right, have a good one.